is we kind of started here, then we came here, then we came here, and again, we are sitting on the 4-hour chart, just giving you some rough numbers, and then we came here, and then we closed here. So we did close at a level of support, right? Now, the interesting piece here is that we did break this level right here. So hey everyone, the professor here, and welcome to today's crude oil analysis as we get ready for the Sunday market open. Now on this trading view chart, we are going to be using current futures pricing. So there's going to be very little difference whether you're on trading view or if you are on Thinkorswim platform, for example, which is my futures platform as well, right? We are going to keep it consistent. There might just be a couple of ticks or points difference, but the price action is going to be exactly the same, and it should be regardless of whatever broker that you are using. So we're going to break down the daily time frame, and we're going to walk it all the way down to the lower time frames. Are you ready? Let's get into today's crude oil analysis video. Okay, so we are going to start on the daily time frame, and what I've already done here is I've already kind of established where a recent floor has been. So we can definitely see here, right? Let me go ahead and grab this arrow. We've come here, lots of times back in 2023. We came back, retouched this area towards the end, mid-December of 2023. So this is a very strong area of support. So as we kind of get into what is happening now since the new year, right, we're going to begin to develop our game plan for crude oil. Now, as I kind of move the chart and kind of give you some perspective, first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and mark up our charts. Now, there's been news that's going on, what's going to affect price crude oil. Okay, even as recent as an article that was published today claiming that oil did climb 1% as tankers avoided the Red Sea after the strike. So again, this is just going to be a lot of consistent fundamental news that you should be looking at. But again, the biggest thing about trading crude oil or anything else is that you trade what you see and not what people are always telling you. You keep that in the back of your mind, but at the end of the day, you have to trade what you see. Now, if you are on the futures platform, okay, this is a current contract that we are in here. This is what's also nice if you use Trading View, just because for me, the charting on Trading View is just so much easier compared to Thinkorswim, right? I'll enter on the futures app through TOS or on the desktop, but I like marking everything up here on Trading View. So you can see here that this contract is going to be good until February 24th or so, and that's when there's going to be switching over to a new contract if you are trading futures. Okay, so as we look at the daily time frame now, we're going to kind of begin to zoom in and give you some perspectives about kind of what happened. So first, let's take a look at this retracement level, because that's how you really begin to find out, some of the key numbers that happens with regards to retracements and fib levels. Okay, so if you are in my trading group, we talk about this all the time. Like, we love the 61.8, but if we can get price to pull deeper to about the 78 or so, right, we get in at a better price. And that's what happened in this first major retracement down with crude oil. And again, mind you that we are sitting on the daily time frame. So kind of just keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward, when I start showing you fib levels from the different levels as well. Then we had on the day time frame, again, let's focus in on this retracement right here. So if we grab another fib level and we swing from this low to where this high ended, okay, again, you can see right here that we came back down towards that 78-ish area before we retrace back up. So now we've got two pullbacks, not passing the 88.6, but stopping just before in the 70 percentile. Now I purposely leave this area blank here, just so I can see in my charts the open area that I'm looking to get into versus just having another line there. Because as you know, it's very difficult to pinpoint or plot an exact spot. So I like an area. Okay, so we've seen this area now on multiple occasions. Okay, so as we kind of take a look here at what's going on here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these fib levels real quick. Okay, now do you notice anything unusual here? And that is this little space or this little gap that still shows right in this area. Now I'm going to be coming back to that, and actually let's go there now. Let's go over to the 4-hour chart. Okay, let's go over to the 4-hour chart. And so you can see here on the 4-hour chart where you can begin to see whether there was a gap filled or not. And so this is where I'm going to encourage you to go back into your broker and make sure that the gap was or was not filled. On our end, it was filled. So this is showing a little distortion on this futures chart, but understand that we traded this on Friday. We had a super nice sell area. The gaps did close. So if you do see that space, disregard it. That means nothing. The gaps have closed. Okay, so let's get back into the full chart here. So as we take a look at this, let's get back over into our daily. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this right in here, and let's get back over to our daily chart. Okay, so we can see here that on Friday, right, we did come up to a high of about 75.27, and we came down here to about 72.28. Okay, and again, this is basing it on this particular chart. Again, this is a futures like crude oil futures current chart right now. Of course, the market is open. I'm taping this on the weekend. Okay, so we can kind of see here just a couple quick courses, quick info. When you see a wick, that's how high price went to for that particular daily candle. That's how low. And then the body means the open and the close, right? So we have an open price and we have a close price. That's what constitutes the actual body. Okay, so as we kind of go back here now to the daily, we want to start kind of looking at price action. We want to kind of start looking at kind of what is happening within the actual market here. You can clearly see here, right, that we had a trend, right, moving down. Now, you know, there's several touches that cover this particular trend line. And again, trend lines are very, very subjective. They can be placed in different areas, whether you do them right or you do them wrong. I use it basically just to kind of give you an idea about what is going on, okay? But we can clearly see here that on this trend line that started here, let me grab a circle to kind of show you. Here, we had a touch here. We had multiple touches here. You can include a touch here, right? And then price broke up and then it's coming back down to kind of retest that area. You might see this a little bit clearer on the 8-hour chart. Okay, so if you look at the 8-hour chart, there is our trend line. There's our touches, right? We had a clear break of the touch. And so is this 8-hour candle that we closed on going to kind of be the retest of this area before we continue to the upside? Okay, that is what we are going to be exploring here on this video today, where we are going to look at price action and what we expect to possibly happen based, of course, on where the market opens. And we'll talk more about the gap in just a little bit. If anything major happens in the Middle East between today and tomorrow, today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, then we can see a huge gap to the upside. But of course, we don't have that data yet to kind of understand. So as we kind of go back real quick to the day time frame, okay, we can just see here before we move back to the 8-hour, that was the price action that's been happening on the day time frame. Okay, that's been the price action that's been happening on the day time frame. So it appears that we may have broken the trend line and we are now retesting this particular area. Okay, so let's kind of dive back down now into our 8-hour chart because we're going to start kind of plotting zones. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this for now. Okay, and let's go ahead and begin to plot some zones. And I'm going to use I like to use current information. So I'm going to go ahead and grab here. I'm going to definitely highlight the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to highlight this top for now. So you can begin to see that this is kind of our working area. We don't want to start plotting plots all the way up here right now because 89 right now is just not feasible. right? So we don't want to start plotting. We want to stay within an actual range that we can work with, especially as day traders, futures traders. And even if you're swing trading, we want to work within a relative area so we can understand and see the price action that is kind of happening. Okay, so now let's go ahead and dig a little deeper here. And so I'm going to grab another plot line, and I'm going to look for areas where I can see both support and resistance shown on my charts. And if you're new to this, this is what I mean. We can see here, we had an area of support where price bounced and took off. And then on the flip side, we saw here where price came up, right, kind of rejected and gave us that resistance to the top side, right? So I like to use these kind of areas, especially for crude oil. So let me go ahead and get rid of this plot point. Let me go ahead and rid of this plot point. Let's go ahead and plot a few more levels. I like this level right about here. And again, understand, and we can tweak these as we move forward through the different time zones or time frames. Realize that these are not a specific pinpoint. So even though you see this area as 72.56 on this chart, it's an area. Okay, you've got to give yourself a little bit of an area to plot this because it's never an exact point. Now let's go ahead and plot the top side. Let's kind of go probably somewhere right about there. And then we can actually plot a mid-level right about there. And then that should be good to go, especially for the beginning and the market open. And then we'll plot another level right in there as we kind of begin to move in. Now, one thing I want to caution you is that on Monday, January 15th, it is a U.S. holiday. Check your brokers. Brokers will be closing early on the markets. Sunday night should be a regular full day. Monday is going to be a half day for just about every broker for the most part. So make sure that you check with your brokers whether they're closing at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There should be a close, especially for crude oil and the futures market. So you definitely want to check your broker for that. So let's go ahead and get back into the charts here, and let's go ahead and make this a little bit wider, and let's kind of draw down now into our 4-hour chart. And so this is where we can really kind of begin to see the price action moving at a little bit of a different level. We can take a look at some of the different levels of what's happened. Again, let's kind of use this as a little bit of a learning tool. So this particular fib, again, we saw that 78, so just shy of the 88.6 area. We grab another fib tool on this next major retracement, which came to this high. Again, just before the 88.6, we saw the pullback to the top side, right? We saw the bounce back to the top side. Now we're in this current Fibonacci level right here, and let's swing up. And as of Friday, we came back exactly almost to the 88.6. We rejected, and we're kind of stopped in this zone right now. And I noticed how when I plotted that white line, I wasn't even on the 4-hour chart. But we can clearly see now that that is a level that we have to respect as a level of support right now based on what's happened over to the left. Okay, so now we are going to begin plotting these different areas. And so if you're watching at home, right, or on your laptop or on your desktop, wherever you're watching this video, pause the video and map out these levels exactly how I have them on this chart. Okay, and again, if you want to go up to the upper left-hand corner, you can see there, it's a CL1 chart, says like crude oil futures, the 4-hour NYMEX. Okay, but again, you can go back, and I'm going to read these plot points because I know we have a lot of folks, especially in some of them in our trading club, who only use a mobile phone or cell phone, and so their numbers are a little bit smaller. So starting with the top over here, okay, that's 79.69. Then we've got 79.94. And again, I would just round up on some of these. Like you could just make this 78. We know crude oil loves 0 zeros and 5 zeros. We can see 76.33. Again, you can almost make this 76.50. We have 74.40. Again, make that 74.50. We see 72.56. Again, make it 72.50. We have 70.39. You can pretty much make it 70.50. And then 67.82. So you can almost make that 68. Okay, so those are kind of the levels that we are going to be working with moving forward on this video. And before we get moving, if you have not yet had a chance to do so, we're going to encourage you to join our trading club. We have a full app that works both on iOS and Android and on your web browser. You can join the over 110 different traders, real good traders. We have videos for you. We have courses for you. You get full access. We have a chat zone, so you can be chatting with others regardless of the time of the day. I'm going to send you trade alerts and trade signals based on the chart. So I hope that you will take the time to join us inside of the trading club. Super affordable, less than $1 a day. Come in, no contracts, no extra fees. You get full access to everything in the trade app. I will never charge you for a course. And the fees that we get from this trade app basically cover the cost that it costs to run this app. And we do all of our videos in-house, meaning we don't use YouTube as much. All the live analysis, daily live trading, we're doing everything in the app, which you can use again on any Android device, iOS device, or any web browser. So from a laptop, an iPad, or a computer, you can access the app and the platform however you want. So we're definitely going to encourage you moving forward, because we keep you up to date hour by hour of what's going on with crude oil, gold, the indices, and regular Forex pairs as well. So if you're a beginner, we've got information for you. If you're intermediate, we've got information for you. If you are advanced, come in and take a look at the platform. We have a lot of great futures traders, so you're going to be hearing from others, learning from others as well. So I invite you to take a leap of faith and join us inside of the app. Okay, so let's get back into the analysis here. So now that we've begun this small climb here, okay, a couple things that point out to me is, number one is we kind of started here, then we came here, then we came here. And again, we are sitting on the 4-hour chart, just giving you some rough numbers. And then we came here, and then we closed here. So we did close at a level of support, right? Now, the interesting piece here is that we did break this level right here. So this was obviously on a 4-hour time frame, right? Some people would have said, well, this was a false breakout to the top side, and then we crashed down. Yeah, and this is exactly, okay, this level here. Once price broke below this level, this is where many of us in the app, we took to sell, right, back in this level, and then we just took it right back down to that particular level right here. So congrats to those members who took that trade setup. But as you can see here, right, here in the interim, right, we made a higher high, a lower low, a higher high, a lower low. So this is why right now there's just a big question mark about where we are going to go with pricing, okay? Because if we drop below this 70-50 area, then the complete tide has changed, and now we continue bearish back to the top side. So right now, is this the next wave that we are continuing to climb? Kind of like what we did here, right? In this particular climb right in here. So are we beginning to ascend from this point forward for higher prices in the 74s, 75s, and 76s? We are going to see as we move forward. And obviously, you know, whether we gap or not, that is not going to play a big role with regards to where we end up price this particular week. There is a lot of noise, which is possibly going to cause the price to go higher. But again, we are going to trade what we see versus what is actually happening out there in the real world. But we do have to kind of pay attention to that as well. So these are going to be our levels that we are going to focus on this week. If you're in the trading app, of course, you are going to get almost hourly updates as we are moving and progressing throughout the course of the day. Now, what I do want to do is I want to drop down first to the 1 hour just to kind of show you that price action that we saw. But now on the 1 hour, obviously, let me get rid of that text box, not yet. Obviously on the 1 hour, we are going to see different price action, right? Remember that the 1 hour is 4 candles that makes up one 4-hour candle. Okay, so we are going to plot our zones again, but now we're going to start plotting them from the 1 hour, because this is what we begin to scalp and look for price action. Okay, I'm going to move this over here a little bit more here, so we have a little consistency. Now we look for these levels. Okay, we look for these pivot points, as some folks may call them, and we want to see kind of what is going on. Now, this particular wick up here, is interesting because if you can see here on the 1 hour, that level was an actual level that was previous support, which turned into resistance. So this is why it's so important that we do mark up on the higher time frames, but sometimes you don't understand why price may have turned back around before getting to the next major level. Well, here's another example. If you kind of take a look at this level, right, and you look over here to the left, right, this level was previous resistance. This was a lot of choppiness, but you can see here previous resistance, previous resistance, previous resistance. So, it's important to look at those levels where you might see a good place for you to say, okay, I took a buy from here. Maybe I need to kind of cash out. Okay. Now that I'm back on the 1 hour, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Why sometimes you have to really look at the multiple time frames to take a look. So this was that area that kind of showed a gap, but you can see here the gap was filled. Okay. So on that daily chart, it looked a little bit weird, but the gap, trust me, we traded this on Friday. The gap was filled. So here we are now on the 1 hour time frame. So now I do want to go ahead and kind of mark this area as the gap. Okay. So the gap means this is where price closed right here on Friday. What is going to happen with market open? Okay. What is going to happen with market open? I'm going to make this a little bit tighter right in here. We have to wait and see. So the scenarios for the gap usually run like this. Let's assume that something major happens here over the next 48 hours and price gaps up, meaning when the market opens, and I'm going to make this green to keep it consistent. When the market opens, it opens up here, price closed here. The difference between here and here, that's the gap. Okay. That's the gap. Now, I can tell you let me go back on camera here for a minute, from trading gap trades on Sundays for a long time with crude oil, 90% over the last couple of years had usually closed within a few hours of each other, okay, from gap open to gap close. That no longer has been the case. As we kind of ended 2023 and going into 2024, as you can see with this gap lasted almost 24 hours. So understand that if you are going to take a gap trade, you should go in at a very low contract size, a very low lot size, and understand if this is a position that you're going to hold, this could be a position that stays open for minutes, hours, days, or even in a very rare occasion, weeks. Okay. They usually close within a few hours, but lately we've been seeing 24 to 48 hours. So one of the things that I like to kind of do when the market first opens is if it opens up here, let the price run away more from the gap, right? Let it run away more, because I would rather get a sell entry in this example up here than right here. So usually if it opens, it doesn't just go back down and close the gap. What happens is price continues to run away from the gap. Okay. So that'll give you a better entry. Okay. In this particular scenario. Now, if let's say that oil gaps to the bottom side, same thing. Okay. Again, the gap, we'll make this red. The gap just means that price closed here on Friday. It opened here on Sunday. Between here and here is called the gap. Same thing. You would want to see price hopefully run down further for the first 30 minutes or so, hopefully, and then turn back around and eventually come back up to close the gap. But usually if you get right in when the market opens, okay, it's usually going to run away for a little bit. Now for me, I have a particular rule when it comes to gap trading on crude oil. It needs to be, for me, it used to be 30 points. Now I'm saying it's got to be 50 points or ticks or clicks, however platform you're trading in, or higher for me to take a gap trade. Okay. Now it may open at 25 and then it runs away another 25. It meets my threshold of 50. So basically a 50-cent difference on open to gap. Then we're getting in on the gap trade. Okay. So again, take a look at that. Don't just jump right in when market opens. If you see a 15-point gap, because it might become a 100-point gap. And so you get a better price if you're just a little patient and you wait. Now, if it turns right around and closes, oh, well, you miss it. Not a big deal, right? But understand that the gap usually is going to open and then pull away. It might get very close and then do a sudden pull away to kind of trick you. And they like to play those kind of games. So here is our current chart. Those are your scenarios that may or may not happen. okay, for the gap. So we are going to be trading these key levels. And again, if you need to pause the video, right, you can definitely pause the video and again, mark up that particular area. Okay, so I hope you got some value on this video. Again, I'm not going to go on a Sunday market analysis video and predict where we may go by Thursday or Friday. We do that daily inside of our trading app. So again, if you are not there yet and you want to join us, we would love to see you there. Hey, if you got some value on this video, you can help me out by smashing that like button. You know how it goes. The more people that like a video, the more people that comment on a video, okay, more people will hopefully be exposed to see this video. And so then they can learn something. Maybe they can get excited about learning to trade with me, with somebody else, on their own, whatever the case may be, because trading gives you the opportunity to do something different, whether you have a job or not. If you have a job, love your job. You should never hate on that. Learn the lessons, but trading gives you an opportunity to have another stream of income if you do it right, okay? Most people Google about trading and everything is negative because people don't do it right, okay? People want to hit a home run. People want to have quick riches. That is not trading. It takes you years to master this. But what I could promise you is that if you do it with a like-minded community and you do it 20 pips at a time, which is what we focus on in this group as my key mantra, then you can be successful. You can be a realtor and be successful because I have them. You can be a nurse and be successful because I have them. You can be a doctor, police officer, firefighters, and be successful because I've seen them in my group do that. But you've got to walk slowly in this. This is not an overnight success story. It's been 8 years for me. My first 3 years, I sucked. I have a video on that, which I'll link at the end of this particular video. So it takes time, it takes community, it takes the right people, sharing information, looking at charts so that you can be successful and give yourself another opportunity to have another stream of income. And if it works out for you a few years down the road, maybe you can make it full-time income. But for now, you should focus on 20 pips a day. Everyone that knows me says, understand that's my mantra. 20 pips a day. Hey, if you're brand new and you haven't subscribed, definitely think about subscribing. Hit that notifications bell because when I publish videos, not only on crude oil, we're going to be putting out more content on natural gas and gold. Those three seem to be the biggest makeup of the members in my group. We'll also get those out to you. But if you want the, updated charts, the in-house trading, live trading, 3 days a week in the app, you can definitely think about joining our app for just a few pennies a day. Okay, thanks for watching. Sharing is caring, so hit this share button and share it on your social media as well. Hey, don't forget, you always have the opportunity to be nice to someone, even if it's a stranger, especially if it's a loved one. Send a text message today, call somebody, write them an email, go by their house, apologize, even if you feel that you weren't wrong. Make nice with people, be nice, and that way you can encourage other people to do the same. Go to a coffee house, a Dunkin' Donuts, buy a cup of coffee to a stranger. The universe has a way of paying you back for your acts of kindness. Thanks for watching and have a great day.